8 Most Racist Cities in the US. Number 1 will surprise you. We often think of America as a land of opportunity and cultural diversity. However, even in such a progressive country, racism persists in some cities. These cities have caught attention for incidents and situations that cannot be overlooked. Welcome to our channel, where we explore and analyze the darker sides of urban life around the world. If you want to uncover more surprising truths, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. In today's video, we'll delve into 8 cities in the US, where racism is still a major issue. Stay with us to the end to see which city tops the list. Let's get started. Number 8. Berkeley, California. Berkeley, California, known for its progressive values and involvement in liberal movements, is facing a troubling issue. Behind its facade of freedom and diversity, an alarming trend of increasing anti-Semitic attacks and behaviors has emerged, particularly at the University of California, Berkeley. This place, seemingly a symbol of tolerance, has seen a 60% increase in anti-Semitic incidents since October 7th. What began as political protests have morphed into acts of harassment, vandalism, and physical assault. Jewish students at UC Berkeley are dealing with tension and fear as the international conflict between Israel and Palestine escalates. They become targets simply because they are identified as Jewish. The situation has become so serious that the U.S. House Education Committee and the Office for Civil Rights of the Department of Education have launched investigations into these incidents. This not only impacts the learning environment, but also opens up a dialogue about the limits of free speech and the responsibility of educational institutions to protect students. Number 7. Bellingham, Washington. Bellingham, Washington, nestled peacefully between the Cascade Mountains, has a turbulent history of racial tensions. The city is infamous for the Bellingham riots of 1907, when a mob of white laborers violently attacked South Asian immigrants. This riot pushed an entire Asian community out of Bellingham, leaving them homeless and traumatized. More than a century later, Bellingham's dark legacy still lingers. In 2023, hate crimes targeting Asians continue, exemplified by the attack on an Asian man by 4 teenagers on his way home. These actions underscore the persistence of racial hatred in the community, even though Bellingham is often regarded as a progressive city. Confronting its past and present racial discrimination, Bellingham is at a crossroads in its effort to reconcile natural beauty with racial justice and inclusion. Number 6. Utqiagvik, Barrow, Alaska. Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow, located at the northernmost point of the United States, is notable for its rugged beauty and remote location. However, its complex and painful history of racial tensions is less known. Unlike many other places in the US, where racism is often directed at minority groups by the white majority, Utqiagvik presents a unique case. The native Alaskan population here harbors deep-seated animosity towards white residents, stemming from historical resentment and perceptions of injustice. These tensions have persisted through generations, originating from the colonial period when white settlers arrived in Alaska, disrupting the traditional lifestyle of indigenous communities. These historical wounds have transformed into discrimination and harassment against white residents. Although whites make up only about 21.8% of the population, they are often targeted with hostility. These events are evidenced by reports from students at the local school who experience harassment and a sense of being unwelcome. The indigenous Alaskan community, comprising 57.2% of the population, has had to deal with the legacy of colonialism. Viewing the presence of whites through a lens shaped by historical trauma, many natives see them as invaders who destroyed their ancestral lands and way of life. This has perpetuated a cycle of resentment and, in some cases, overt discriminatory behavior. Utqiagvik illustrates the complexity of racial relations in the U.S., showing that racism and prejudice can take many forms and affect various groups. The challenge for Utqiagvik is to address these deep-seated issues, foster mutual understanding, and build a more inclusive community. Number 5. Honolulu, Hawaii. Honolulu, Hawaii, a renowned tropical paradise and melting pot of cultures, hides a harsh reality for the native Hawaiian community. Despite the city's diversity, with Asians making up the majority, native Hawaiians face systemic issues like homelessness, violence, and other forms of discrimination. A clear indicator of this inequality is the chronic homelessness crisis in Honolulu. Native Hawaiians, though only 8% of the city's population, account for 28% of the homeless, indicating significant socio-economic challenges they face, such as difficulties in accessing affordable housing, employment opportunities, and social services. Violence against Native Hawaiian women and girls is another concern. Over a quarter of missing girls in Hawaii are Native Hawaiian, reflecting the community's vulnerability. These issues paint a picture of a marginalized and at-risk population, often overlooked in discussions about public safety and justice. The idealized view of Hawaii as a racial paradise has contributed to the erasure of Native Hawaiian struggles. These problems are further complicated by the historical context of colonization and displacement, which continue to affect Native Hawaiian communities today. As Honolulu confronts these complex social issues, the need for a more inclusive approach that addresses the challenges faced by Native Hawaiians becomes urgent. The city's diversity should be a strength, but this must be accompanied by fairness and justice for all residents, especially the indigenous population that has historically endured systemic inequality. Number 4. Glendale, California. Glendale, California, located in the San Fernando Valley, is an example of how past racial injustices can shape society today. The city, with nearly 200,000 residents, has a dark history as a sundown town, where black people were banned after dark. This policy was enforced through intimidation and violence, leaving a mark on Glendale's demographics. Despite being a suburb of Los Angeles, one of the most diverse cities in the U.S., Glendale's population remains predominantly white, accounting for nearly 63%, while black residents make up only 1.7%. This demographic discrepancy is a consequence of the prolonged racial exclusion practices dating back to the sundown town era. Glendale was once a hub for the American Nazi Party and the Ku Klux Klan, where white supremacist rallies were held up until the 1980s. This legacy has further entrenched racial division and made the city a symbol of resistance to civil rights progress. While Glendale is working to promote diversity and inclusion, its legacy is not easily erased. Systemic issues faced by minority communities still exist, and the city must continue to strive to overcome its racist past. Number 3. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, known for its natural beauty and outdoor activities, has a complicated past marked by deep-seated racism. It was once the headquarters of the Aryan Nations, a notorious white supremacist group in the 1970s. The group's presence spread hateful ideologies and created an intolerant climate, leaving a lasting impact on the community. Even after the Aryan Nations compound was destroyed in the early 2000s, undercurrents of white supremacy persist. In March 2024, the city drew attention again when a basketball team from Utah faced severe racial harassment during a visit to Coeur d'Alene. This incident shows that racist attitudes have not completely disappeared and can resurface with alarming intensity. Coeur d'Alene has struggled to overcome its legacy of hatred and promote inclusivity is a testament to the persistence of racial prejudice and the challenge of achieving true social equality. Number 2. Grants Pass. Oregon. Grants Pass, Oregon, set amidst the scenic landscapes of southern Oregon, bears a troubling past as a sundown town. Historically, this town enforced policies that effectively excluded Black people and other minorities after dark. This legacy has left a deep imprint on the town's demographic and social dynamics, with 90.9% of the population being white and less than 1% Black. Grants Pass is also known for recruitment activities by white supremacist groups. These activities not only exacerbate existing racial tensions, but also pose a challenge for local authorities in creating a more inclusive environment. The visibility of hate groups and active resistance to anti-discrimination initiatives are clear reminders of the work that remains to be done. Grants Pass's journey towards overcoming its history of exclusion and building a more inclusive community remains a complex and persistent task. Number 1. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque, New Mexico, known for its cultural diversity and diverse population, went through a series of tragic events in 2022 when a string of murders targeting Muslims shocked the community. Within just a week, 4 Muslim men were killed, sparking a wave of fear and insecurity among the Muslim community. These murders highlighted the latent Islamophobia in society. The targeted nature of the attacks led many Muslim residents to alter their daily lives. The subsequent investigation took an unexpected turn when the suspect arrested was a Muslim, complicating the narrative and creating more misunderstandings. This situation underscores the need for greater understanding and unity within the community. To combat Islamophobia, it is necessary to dismantle deep-rooted prejudices and foster a more nuanced understanding of diverse communities. For Albuquerque, these tragic events serve as a painful reminder of the work needed to create an environment where all residents can feel safe and respected.